Welcome to yet another edition of the Phil Taylor Jones Show. Today we're going to bring to you day 2 of the Democratic National Convention, or as I'd like to think of it, the Democratic National Catastrophe. You know, I had planned to say quite a few things to today about what went on there yesterday. But in hindsight, I decided to go in another direction. I'm Phil Taylor Jones, your host, and we need to talk about a few things this morning, ladies and gentlemen. You know, looking at this whole catastrophe with the emails coming out, and the using of Bernie Sanders and his supporters, the sheer embracement of illegality with this party and the Republican Party as well, but this one is really blatant with it. From its illegal foreigners that it puts on the stage to taunt America. See, they claim they're taunting this Trump fella, but he's insignificant. He's unimportant. He's nothing but a scurvy little spider, as they say, in a very, very big web. What they're taunting is, or whom they're taunting, are the American people, the citizens, the true citizens and patriots of this country. That's who they're taunting. Because we're the ones that don't have our names all over the cities of the world, with hotels, casinos, and golf courses and clubs and what have you. We're not the ones who have a tower in New York we can sit up in and peer down on all the poor people. No, we are the poor people. We are the ones who do most of the living and buying and dying in this country. We are the ones who are looking to a leader to help us to maintain some air of American life. We are the ones who are suffering. I did say some things about Bernie Sanders, and I have to retract them. I'm sorry I said what I said about the guy. I looked at him yesterday. I looked at his older brother, who was almost in tears at the way they've done his kid brother. Yes, the Democratic Party used Bernie Sanders because they knew that this shitbag that they're so clamoring over to get into office, nobody really likes. So they used him because he was like a lightning bolt, bringing in more people, young people, new people to this illegal catastrophe of a party. And they used him and threw him away like so much toilet paper when their mission was accomplished. And this is who any American would consider their party. And you look at this bitchery Clinton, anybody who would even consider in a heartbeat to support and subsequently vote her into office. If we are going to go in that direction, we are truly fucked. We have lost ourselves as a people with dignity and self-respect. This woman and this party have done so many nasty things just in the course of a few days. We're not talking about their past history way back there. I'm just talking about the beginning of this week, ladies and gentlemen. All of the crap that's come down the pike about the 20,000 or so emails, about the using of Bernie Sanders, about the just destroying of the man. After he did what he did last evening, and that's fully through all of, what he had towards her. He walked out of that venue practically in tears. And approximately 500 or so of his supporters including Jill Stein was there, walked out with him, leaving an already empty venue even that much emptier. Because if you look at the Republican, Sluglican as I call them, convention in Cleveland was empty, so is this one. Because the American people are waking up every day and saying, fuck this. Because it's useless to vote for shitbags who won't do you any damn good. As I said, every 4 years, we go through this same shitty ritual, thinking that, oh, this person is going to be so great. And then when they get in there, we find out that it's more of the same. And we're tired of this. The man was in tears because he worked so hard, not for necessarily himself. He's 74 years old. He's lived his life. He's probably got a few more good years ahead of him, but he's lived his life. He's looking out for his children, his grandchildren, and your grandchildren and children. Doing the best he could. I will say this for the guy. You know, there's a few things I don't like about him, but I will say this about Bernie Sanders. The guy stood, stands, and will stand resolute in what he believes in. And that's not having all of our money go to the ones that's already got money. I respect him for that. If only that. And for him not to have his chance at it for some non-existent creep, oh no, excuse me, very existent creep, unfortunately, to get in there and screw us further is unconscionable. And in and of itself, a horrible stain upon this once great nation. After his supporters were pushed outside, once they let it be known they no longer wanted to be there, some of them tried to come back in, and the ever popular, ever beloved police refused to let them back in. Barred the door. And guess what? They weren't even black. Lives matter. Speaking of that, there were the mothers on stage of children who were killed by police. And you should see all the nastiness that surrounds that. Like it's okay for people's children to be killed. And the two people that spoke, well, three people spoke, but I'm focusing on two. One of them was Sandra Bland's mother. Sandra Bland was not a criminal. Trayvon's mother also spoke. Now, Trayvon had some run-ins with law enforcement, but the bastard that took his life wasn't even a police officer. That scuzzbag Zimmerman was nothing but a racist bastard who took that kid's life. But the crooked Democratic Party, the party that uses people and throws them away like so much toilet paper, is the party of illegality. It should be illegally we're stronger. Not together we're stronger, but illegally we're stronger, or at least they are. I look at what they did yesterday that was just disgustingly disgusting. Yesterday was the anniversary of the ADA, Americans with Disabilities Act. And what did they do? They exploited every disabled American they could on that stage, including one singing that national anthem and one doing the Pledge of Allegiance. They exploit, they use people, and it's sickening. Eric Holder, supposedly an attorney general, advocated illegal voting. Anybody can vote. They're wanting prisoners to come out of prison and vote. You've killed 15 people, you get out of prison, and you can vote now. You've taken lives. You don't have the right to vote. They want illegal foreigners to vote. And they claim that the Respublicans wanting to make sure you have an ID to vote is infringing upon the rights of people to vote. Oh, it's infringing upon black Americans in rural areas. Bullshit. If a black American can go to the liquor store and grab a bottle of liquor or beer, then why can't they get off their ass and go to the DMV and get their identification or driver's license? In this 2016. If you're too lazy to get off your ass and go get some form of ID that would qualify you to go in and vote, then you don't need to vote. And you can't blame anybody for taking your right to vote. You gave it away. Stop the bullshit. No, they're so illegal, everything they breathe, drink, and defecate is illegality. All those illegal foreigners on the stage. Ridiculous and in your face, America. Forget Donald ass Trump. I'm talking American people that they're taunting. Every time they do something, it's in the American people's face, and we're sick of it. We're sick of Republicans. We're sick of stupid Democrats. The independents, they don't even get a stake at it. They don't even get a shot at it. Where were their debates? Where was their primary? Where are their conventions? Where is their general election? While we're on that subject, I had a lot of people ask me the question, because now I'm for Jill Stein. Well, we thought you were for Trump. Yeah, I was. I was fucking desperate to pick up the torch for this orange-headed bastard who won one of his major legal battles was because he kept black people out of his properties, him and his father. That lets you know what kind of a humanitarian he is. I figured, like a lot of Americans, I'll take the lesser of two evils. I didn't want the bitchery Clinton, so I chose him because I thought Jill Stein had possibly dropped out because they don't have a platform. They don't have a format for which they can run on. They don't have any kind of debates or what have you. I don't know why, but they don't. And the first time I heard of her, I really admired her. I went to her page and what have you, or her site, and I was just enamored. And then I heard no more. And I chose this bag of crap. Even though I knew that there was little telltale things that, you know, would say, are you sure about this? I would still pick him over the bitchery Clinton. But no, I can't get behind this guy's philosophies. For one thing, he's a blowhard. He's a papa's ass. All he does is paint with a very broad brush. It's going to be huge. It's going to be great. It's going to be fantastic. And let me tell you this. Let me tell you this. He repeats himself 15 times. But he never comes up with anything of specificity. Even to this date, he's not the presumptive nominee. He is the nominee for the Republican Party. He's even got his little pitiful white-head pencil neck geek VP. And he still paints with a broad brush. Oh, I'm going to make America great. How are you going to make America great? You can't even make a great sentence. You talk about what the Democrats and bitchery Clinton are doing. What are you doing, pal? Every time you look around, there's something about you. And it's probably true. Because if it wasn't, I think you'd be denying it. You say things, and then you vacillate. We're going to keep all Muslims out until they're properly identified, and then we know what they're doing in the country. And you vacillated on that. The David Duke thing, I don't know. I can't recall who he is. I don't know. And what is white supremacist? Come out of your damn act. You're not 7 years old, Donald. You're 70. You mean you've been on this planet all this time in America and you don't know what a white supremacist group is? Bullshit. Some of the things you came up with were very good. But then you reneged on it, you vacillated, or you changed your position. You compromised your principles in my book. So therefore, I don't need you. I don't need Bitchery Clinton. Ladies and gentlemen, they speak of a new world order with old bastard and what he's trying to do. It's all of them. These two disgusting parties who have grasped and grabbed everything from American people are now going after our own dignity and self-respect. The world is watching. We can no longer go around and talk about how great democracy is, because everything that these Democrats have done over the past few days, again, just the past few days, mocks that. It shows the world that democracy is a bag of shit. You got a guy out there that's just going to town, getting people to come to him right and left. His rallies sold out, filled to max cap. He's going out there, giving it his all. And he gets shafted when he gets to the door. Why? Because they want this good-for-nothing piece of garbage to get the White House. The people that were speaking of her, I had to ask the exec, who is this woman? Who is this angel? Who is this sweetheart? Who is this Wonder Woman that they're talking about? Because the snarly, creepy bitch that I see every day on telly or on the internet or in the newspaper or in periodicals is not that person. Out of all the things they talk about with her being Secretary of State, they never mentioned the four in Benghazi, did they? Of all the wonderful work that she did all around the world, flying millions of miles around the world and doing a job that perhaps was not the best job that she could have wanted, but she took it on because she's such a great person. They did not mention that she left vacuoles in various dangerous parts of the world that now ISIS has fulfilled. Did they? Like the Respublicans and Donald Trump, they talk out of the side of their necks. All these political muckety-mucks are nothing but shitbags. Because they're in these two greedy parties that dominate everything. But I don't think you no longer dominate the hearts and minds of the American people, because a lot of people have woken up. They're awake now, and they see you for the disgusting creeps that you really are. So you can no longer parade your best jackass, or in the Respublicans' case, your best pompous ass, in front of us as if to dangle the carrot in front of our nose and say, "Come to me." We say, "Fuck you. We're going to go elsewhere." Thank goodness there is a Green Party and there is Jill Stein, because I honestly believe this woman has our best interest at heart. She's not in a greedy party that cares only about lining their pockets. They talk about Soros and how bad he is. Again, you can't talk about him. You are him. Both Republicans and Democrats. You can't talk about each other. You are each other. You're in bed with each other and you stink of the nastiness that you created in this world, let alone this country. Republicans, you can't talk about old bastard. You are old bastard. Democrats, you can't talk about George Bush. You are George Bush. You're all intertwingled like snakes in a pit. Disgusting. And you've been shafting the American people with your ludicrous trade deals and with your accepting of these foreigners. We were going to do a show specifically about the heinous thing that took place yet again in France. People at, church, Catholic church at prayer. Some Muzzy extremists go in, say their Allah Akbars or whatever, their prayers to their Muhammad or whatever the hell his name is, Allah, and then slit this elderly priest's throat and kill another and kidnap some others until the police come in and take them out. And this is what you want possibly come to the country, you stupid Democrats? And this is what you're vacillating over, you stupid Donald Trump and the Republicans? You guys aren't worth spit. Exec, what do you got?
Well, the whole thing was just a debacle, as I put in the description of the last show. They were exploiting, those disabled people. Every time you come up there'd be a different disabled person. And like I said in the last show, just to probably support their supposed stronger together, they have more black people talking than the Republicans ever even thought to, including in the audience. But the way these people talked about her, like I said in other previous shows, and I'm repeating myself, I don't know what scares me more, the fact that people clamor and be so crazy over what they say and believe it and are so thankful looking and crying about it and everything, or the fact that they actually, think they did what they did, the people talking about this stuff, And this person is so damn crooked and in current scandal, like you said, it's ridiculous. She involved with all these things with 20,000 emails. Emails seem to follow her for some reason with problems. And this whole thing was really crazy how everybody's talking about her like she's some kind of goddess or something like that. And the whole thing was like they were trying to make it all spectacular and everything. Every time someone would come on, they'd play some little raucous music like the person coming to speak was some kind of badass or something. And then at the very end, they got even more worse and crazy. They had all the past presidents. They went from chronologically from the first one. I don't know much of history, so the only older one I recognized was Abraham Lincoln. But then they kept going up.
You didn't recognize George?
No, George Washington, of course. I mean,
what started it all?
I recognized George Washington, Abraham Lincoln, and as far as the older ones, but the newer ones I did recognize. Those two were the older ones, and then they got down to Burr Snot Insano Bastard, and zoomed in on him and played this super cool music like he was the best thing that ever happened in the United States, and he's the worst thing that ever happened. And then they made, I don't know how exactly they did this, because I thought it was a television screen, and it looked like the objects were hitting the ground. They broke some kind of, like the screen was shattered, and then stupid bitchery Clinton's sitting up there looking stupid, waiting for people to finish cheering, looking all retarded and everything. And then we shattered the thing better than this before. Well, you don't realize you shattered the United States in the process. And that was really disgusting. And even more disgusting was her husband, Blowjob Willie, just talking on and on about their whole entire life history. If I want to know the history of your misfortunes, I would have asked you.
But did you notice how horrible he looks?
Mm-hmm. And his hands were
They
shaking.
say he has AIDS.
His hands were shaking and everything.
His hands were shaking, and he must be, used to public speaking, but he looked horrible.
Mm-hmm. And it's just crazy. Everybody's just fawning over her like she's a goddess, and she's more like a demagogue. But this thing was really crazy, And these people are just totally blindsided into saying all these different things. They had all these inspirational videos, about 4 or 5 of them. And before I go into that, they had the cute little boop, 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 Trump in his own words, stupid crap all over again, which is stupid and retarded. Not that I'm against him being maligned, or not maligned, because it's actually true, everything they're saying about him. Not that I'm against him being put down in a bad way, because I can't stand him either. I'm sorry I ever supported him myself. I thought Jill Stein was dropped out too, because she wasn't in the forefront. But to continue where I started, they were, what were they talking about? I think I lost my train of thought here. I was talking about the little video Oh, the inspirational videos, that's where it was before. I said I would talk about that after I just talked about what I did. The inspirational videos would go on, about 4 or 5 different ones, beautiful little music, of course, and sometimes black and white, sometimes not. Her with groups of people and all the supposedly wonderful things she did to help different people, different groups of support she's made. And while some of it may be true and may very, very well be true, all I kept thinking anytime they said anything good about her in the videos or otherwise is Benghazi, Benghazi, Benghazi. Every time they said something, Benghazi. So yeah, all the good things she did, she saved people's lives and saved this person and kept this family together. But yeah, all that stuff is notwithstanding when you killed all these Americans. And every time you come with something good, all I can say is, what about the families of those people that are no longer alive? They're still suffering, you know.
Not to mention all the ones that came up missing or are either in jail. You know, there's a trail of people behind the Clintons.
So one of these songs you told me about, is that the best that you can honestly do? Then this country is fucked, as they say. Excuse my French.
It is. It's.
You got 2 idiots that are only out for themselves. Trump, as they say, you know, that $35,000 he charged, and a lot of other people have sued him, and they're saying he's only got that way by being crooked and everything and trying to deny black people to come to his buildings. And it's bigotry. Let's not even get started with her getting the Benghazi people killed and all these different email things, stealing from the White House, and she's allowed to come back. What kind of crap is that? White House obviously has no bowels.
Yes, sir. Our whole dignity and self-respect as a nation, as a people, has been compromised by these 2 worthless parties.
For a very long time.
For a very long time.
What they have to offer right now is nothing that much any good. Everybody thinks they're great. On these little games I see people talking about Donald Trump 2016. If there's a portal and will open if Donald Trump's going to be the president. And you're all talking about him. I don't see that many people talking about Bitchery becoming president on the game I play for some reason. But everybody in this nation, almost a lot of people in this nation, are in support. I think California has about 500 electoral votes. Last time I heard, we had the highest electoral votes in the whole country. And about 300 of them were given to her last night. So that means about 200 were given to Donald Trump. But
No, it doesn't work that way. You know, they each have their own set of things for each party. But most of ours were given to her, and then what was left was given to Bernie Sanders.
So each one can give 500 to each one.
Well, it depends on what number the Republicans have, and then that's, you know, divided up between the ones that are running, or the ones that are still left, and then the Democrats have theirs, and that's you know, divided up between whoever's left. Just so happened that Sanders, you know, was still lurking around, and they had to split him up. Even if they did that with the Republicans too, even though this guy was the presumptive nominee, all the rest of it dropped out. You know,
either way, they're both not worth a crap. And just like old bastard did, you told me he's a social climber. All these different things he has done, to get to the presidency like he did. He was just moving up in the ranks and everything. And I believe it to my heart of hearts that all these supposedly good things that Bitchery Clinton has done, everything everybody's saying about her, all these different years, supposedly she's been the best person he's known, Bill, for making change, and they even had make change signs. You know, I believe in her heart of hearts that those 2 people, the one in office and the one that's probably going to be in office, her, are probably in some kind of secret society. If you've seen the movie called The Skulls, you know what I mean. And
that's this New World Order thing.
Yeah, and there's a secret society that some people are members of, and a lot of people ask, is Barack Hussein al-Bastard a member of it? I think he is, but there's some secret society. I forget the official real name of the real society that's supposedly hidden. But I think that those 2, the one that's going to currently be in, and the one that is, were actually in that society being set up to try to, you know, do the right things to make everything more crooked, of course. But all the things she's been doing, all these little supposed good things and all these things in office, you know, it's not because she's a good, genuine, honest person as the people are so praising her with. It's the fact that she's just setting up her plan from a long time ago that she's going to be the president at some point, and I guess she finally decided now is the time to try to do it.
Or at least they did.
So all
this group or whatever.
This group, I forget the name, but there'll be a link to it on the description when I do find it, because that's a good informational thing to look at to see how crazy this world is with secret societies trying to get the wrong people in office just to keep things going the way they want it to go. All the nice things, that was just her preparing you, not because she's genuine, to look like a good person enough to in the public to be in office and everything. But it's just a whole big old story, and the ending is not happily ever after, I'll tell you that much. But that's all I got to say on that subject. We'll take it away.
As I said before, this country is in trouble. Oh, Donald Trump paints a very gloomy picture. Well, he didn't paint it all by himself. We are in trouble. You know, we're $20 trillion in debt. Our infrastructure is falling apart. We don't even know who we are as a people anymore because we've been infiltrated and infested with all these foreigners preaching and pushing their own agendas. We're dodging bullets and knives and bombs and things over here because you've let these murderers in here along with the other foreigners. They've taken over our country. It's getting so that we can't even make a phone call to pay a bill or to inquire about something unless we have to go through all these crazy routines about which language do you want to speak. What have you done? What will you do? You preach democracy, but you don't mean it. This is more like a communistic country than the communistic ones. You give us 2 shitbags to vote for, and the one that possibly is the best one that you could have voted for is nowhere on the radar screen. Just now coming up on the radar screen. Do you realize it? After tomorrow, tomorrow is the last day of this controversy, not a convention, it's a controversy. I think we'll have something like 105 days or so before we have to vote. Jill Stein is barely on the radar. Just maybe a tiny little blip. But I can promise you this, I will do all I can with shows and what have you to get her name before the public. What public I reach. There is an alternative. Jill2016.com. Go there. Read for yourself what the woman's philosophy is, what her hopes and dreams and desires are for this country, and how she will work incessantly, tirelessly to make some of those dreams come true. She's a very realistic person. She knows that she can't do it all. She knows that she doesn't possess a magic wand. Oh, I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna do it quick. Let me tell you this, and I'm gonna do this for women. Like I said before, if this cow gets in there, us men are fucked. This is all she's concerned about, or all she feigns being concerned about, are women and children. Forget the guys. If you're a guy, you're fucked. Don't even try to go there. But I know what women she's in it for. She's in it for herself and her daughter, Chelsea. That's the women. And I think women are waking up to her. I think a lot of people are waking up to both of these bastards. Well, that's it. I don't know if I'll watch it tonight. I will try to stomach watching it tomorrow to see her keynote address. I will have a large puke bucket ready, and we'll try to bring you that on Friday. Again, to that priest and the other person that was killed in France yesterday at the hands of these murderers, these terrorists, these Islamics, extreme creeps, bastards. Our heart goes out to those families. And I don't know, people, we somehow need to dump the hate and increase the peace. I think the exec has something to say before we close it out.
Well, another thing that kind of bothered me was just about everybody in that convention was almost hollering at the top of their lungs, like they think that makes much more
speaker.
A lot of them, a whole bunch of different speakers. Like they think it makes much more emphasis or it makes a much stronger point. You can easily speak at a regular tone because the microphone has amplification capabilities. You know, you don't have to yell and everything. It doesn't make it any much better. And I also wanted to put out there my sincerest condolences to the lives, unfortunately, and unnecessary lost again by another jackass, extremist, muzzy piece of crap. It's a shame, but I didn't mean to cut you off. That's all I had to say right there. So go on and close it up.
I'm finished. I'm disgusted by all of this shit. But anyway, try to maintain some air of sanity in this crazy mixed up world. Our country is in peril. And the two dirtbags that are in the forefront for us to vote for ain't gonna make it no better. We'll see you next time on the Phil Taylor Jones Show. Bye-bye.